People may not get all they work for in this world, but they must certainly work for all they get. That's a quote from Mr. Frederick Douglass, who, if you don't know who that is, he's considered basically the father of the civil rights movement back in the 1800s. Now, I thought that this quote perfectly illustrated what I want to talk to you today about, which was equal pay, and specifically equal pay for black soldiers during the Civil War. Now, blacks were not always allowed to fight in the military during that time. Obviously, there was you had the slavery going on. You had a lot of a lot of prejudices on both sides going on. And what happened was President Lincoln actually, according to the CivilWarAcademy.com, he saw a untapped potential resource there for allowing these soldiers in to serve. And so he passed a Union Militia Act, which allowed them to come in addition to the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862. And so once those things got approved, black military service began. And I found it very interesting because once they were allowed in to serve, there was actually a little bit of confusion, a little bit of unofficial prejudice, if you will, on their pay. And that's the main topic of what I'm telling you today. Is you had Soldier A, who was a white soldier, always been there, $13 a month pay, no deductions. Then you had Soldier B, who is the new black soldier, just allowed in, everything's great, let me fight for my freedom. And he only got paid $10. And then in addition to that $10, he had a $3 deduction per month for a uniform allowance deduction. And so essentially what you had, $13 a month over here, Soldier A, and then Soldier B, the black soldier, $7 a month after the deduction. So basically, when it was all said and done, they were getting about half the pay. Well, this didn't sit very well with a lot of them, and I actually found this neat book called The Civil War, which was written by Peter and Dennis Gaffney, and they found that the majority of the black soldiers actually refused their pay for about 18 months because they felt like if we're not going to get paid as equals, then we will not accept any pay and we'll just volunteer our service to the Union to fight for our own freedom. That's how we'll earn our pay, is through our freedom. And so this, like I said, this went on for about 18 months, and it was very difficult for the black soldiers during this time because, like I said, the white soldiers who commanded them and even their white counterparts who fought alongside them had a lot of unnecessary prejudices still. Even though they were fighting for them, they just didn't feel like the black soldier would fight as well as them, or be able to shoot as well as them, basically not be able to pull their weight, and at least as good as their white counterparts. And so there was a lot of this strife, a lot of this hardship placed on the black soldier during the time. And basically it took the work of a few abolitionist congressmen to fight and fight and fight for about 2 years to standardize the pay scale, and because and make it equal across the board, because they recognized what this was doing in the Army, and it was actually bringing down and having the opposite effect of what President Lincoln intended, which was for them to boost the numbers and help turn the tide. But you had all this, you had the pay issue, and then you had treatment issues as well in the Northern Army that ended up being counterproductive to the entire idea. And so, like I said, back in 1864, they finally put so much pressure on Congress to fix this issue that they finally pushed through a law saying, you know what, equal pay as of, I believe it was 1 January 1864. And what they did, which was a great move on their part, was they said, you know what, we recognize our error here. We're going to retroactively pay you for the time that we didn't pay you correctly. So not only were they getting their $13 a month now, but they were getting back paid to a certain date, not their entire service, but to, I believe it was, like I said, 1 January. They got paid the same as their white counterparts. And you know, this was significant because the black soldier was no pushover. As a matter of fact, there was a Massachusetts regiment that fought so valiantly that they actually made a movie about them called Glory. And it was a great, phenomenal movie, and it really illustrated some of the hardships that they went through, but it also illustrated the greatness that was their ability to fight for something that was long overdue, which was their freedom. And I just found it very interesting that the pay ended up being it was a trivial thing, but it played such a huge part in the productivity of the Army. And you know what, after doing a little bit more research, I found through nationalparkservices.com that when the war was finally said and done, the blacks who enlisted were actually numbered around 179,000. And out of that 179,000, they participated in 41 major battles and about 440 small skirmishes. And out of those battles and skirmishes, about 16 total members were given the Medal of Honor for Valor. And to me, I just thought, wow, you know what? Not only were you equal to your white counterpart, but a lot of you were even greater because of the deeds that you did during the Civil War. And I felt like when I did this research, what a way to pay for your freedom. What a way to show that you belong, that you are human, that you deserve to be equal, is, you know, not only participating in the war, but earning medals of honor. That, to me, was just phenomenal. So I hope you enjoyed my information today. I know it was a little bit fast, but there's a lot of information to cover, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope you did too. Thank you.